Okay, it's November 12th, 2012. I'm Alex Ansary and I'm leaving Manville, Wyoming. And I'm gonna stay for a night down in Loveland, Colorado. And it's gonna take me about 3 hours to get there. It's about 1 o'clock right now. So, you know, this is Manville, Wyoming. Looks like a lot of other places in Wyoming. And a lot of people have asked me, why would you go to Wyoming? There's nothing there. And I'm not really motivated by the amount of stuff or fast food joints or, strip clubs or bars or nightclubs, or even other restaurants. I'm not really entertained and impressed by the superficial. So sometimes, you know, if there's a place there's not a whole lot there, you might want to think about that place being a possibility if you might want to get out of the city and find a good place to settle down in preparation for, you know, shit hitting the fan. This isn't a bad place to do it. When you find places where there really isn't a whole lot there, and you're concerned about, you know, the safety and security of your own life and your freedom living in a dense population zone. I mean, look at the world we live in today. When you look at it from that point of observation, you know, little small towns like this don't seem that bad. In fact, you know, it seems like we have many options here in the United States. All is not lost. Wyoming, for example, is one of the states in the Union that had, the people voted more in the direction for Mitt Romney, even though he's another neocon. At least Wyoming can say that they have just about the least number of votes for Barack Obama coming out of the state. And I have also heard rumors from Frank from We Are Change San Francisco, who recently moved out here. He's the one I was staying with. He said that in Wyoming, that there were a lot of free staters, Ron Paulers, liberty-minded individuals. So, you know, we might think, with the information that we have, that this is all neocon territory because of the way that the state voted. But Wyoming has a lot of really interesting people that live within the state as well, that are here because they like a different way of living. They like to experience a different way of living. Some have been here for a long time. Some people are just moving to Wyoming now to get away from the dense population centers, the big cities. In fact, many wealthy have moved to Wyoming, you know, and bought farms in preparation for civil unrest. Now, I only came to visit for about a month, and it's been great. It definitely feels like I'm on a different planet, being in Wyoming. I'm definitely away from a variety of ley lines, which I think may exist in many urban cities and different places on the planet, these ley lines where humans tend to congregate and feed off of the energy, but it doesn't feel like I'm in the middle of a ley line. It feels like, you know, I'm in the middle of nowhere. In a way I am. So I'm now going to the next destination, and I'm going to be filming a lot more and speaking a lot more and expressing my thoughts with you. And I want to thank everybody out there that's contributed in some way, shape, or form to my adventures. As challenging as they are, after this next adventure, I'm going to have a lot more experience living off of the grid. Especially that I'm doing it during the winter. You know, who would have thought that Alex Ansary would be driving around after all these years of doing Outside the Box, not knowing where he's going to be on December 21st, 2012, and I don't. Not that I think some big event is going to happen on that day, but there's a lot of energy, mental energy focused on that date, and this concept of great change unfolding upon the earth, and I just find it to be just a little bit ironic that I'm going through all this great change in my life. So, this is the exit from Manville, Wyoming. As I said, it looks like much of the state does, as well as Colorado, but there's some very beautiful places. Plains aside, there's some very beautiful forests and mountains that I haven't seen yet with my own eyes. But, you know, the legends of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado and parts of Wyoming, it's just legendary. And I've always wanted to see this part of the country. You know, just as an FYI. I've always wanted to see Colorado. Yeah, I've always wanted to see Montana. I've always wanted to see Idaho. So, you know, in another video, I'm going to address all those questions that come from people that say, Alex, why would you dare travel? I mean, it just makes no sense. Why not live in Portland your whole life? Don't you understand it's utopia here? I mean, I'll address that in another video. But the point is, all my life, you know, I've had travel in my blood. I don't know whether it's in my ancestry or whether it's in my, you know, a part of my soul. Sometimes I wonder about all the different places I may have been. I do ask the question, and shouldn't we all? But Portland is also a wonderful place as well, and I recommend that if people have never been to Portland to check out Portland. But, you know, like the old former governor of Oregon said years ago, when they had the sign at the California-Oregon border, visit but please don't stay. And I'm not saying please don't stay in Oregon, but it's a great place to live for a few years. But I'll tell you what, to live in Oregon your entire life, and I just want to be brief with this, but to live in Oregon your entire life and never even attempt to see something else is a life that I feel is extremely limiting, and we are in many ways affected by the energy of the places, of the environments where we are inhabiting, and Portland can tend to, and this is just my opinion, have a kind of intoxicating influence, which you could perceive as good or bad, but, you know, intoxicating influence. Oh, Portland, oh, the utopia, the progressive city. And, you know, it is in and of itself, when you look at it, its own bubble, its own paradigm, and people within the city live in their own paradigms. So when you go around and you start seeing different places and traveling to different towns, you can kind of see the similarities, the similar goods and the similar bads, and you can kind of see through the egotistical bullshit. Oh, this state's better, this town's better. You know what? Last time I checked, this is still America. And there's still a whole lot of Americans that are The Walking Dead, that appear to be, you know, intellectual zombies to a certain degree. And you can find that anywhere. But at the same time, you can also find good people, even zombies with good hearts. They may have no brains, but they may have a decent good nature to them. And I think you can find good everywhere, and good in I don't know about all people, but most people. You can find good in most people. And you can find good in most places. There's a good and a bad to everything, and there's a purpose to experiencing the things that you experience, and the travels that you have, and the conversations that you have, and the people that you meet. And I think there's a purpose behind my existence and the travels that I have, and there's a synchronicity behind all things. I mean, it is wonderful to breathe clean air and to look at the sky from another point of observation, or another place, or another dot on the globe. Well, that's about all out of me. I'm gonna put this camera down and continue to drive, and, you know, later on I might pick up the camera and do another video. But thank you to everybody that has supported my travels, you know, and when I've needed it. The donations that people make certainly are going a long way, and it's also inspiring me at the same time, and reminding me that there are a lot of people out there that are watching, that are listening, that want to see me continue doing what I'm doing, and I thank you for that. Anyway, I'm going to put this camera down and focus on the road. There's more content, of course, as always, coming your way. AlexAnswery.tv.